This is Software Meets Business, a podcast sponsored by Head Channel.
So welcome to another episode of Software Meets Business. With me today, I have got Richard Moseley. He is the founder of Rent Pay Go, which is an exciting bit of kit, which we'll get into. So Richard, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So I suppose the first thing is kind of what was your kind of journey to where you are now? Where did you start off?
I guess the main journey is I've been employed with some large businesses over the years, and within the sectors that I'm targeting for the last 20 years. So what I wanted to do was try something different and use my skills and knowledge of the industry to essentially look at building a software solution to help the industry thrive.
So which industry is it?
The main ones I'm targeting are the construction industry, which is the plant hire, plant sales, but also the industrial market, such as the forklifts and generators and things like that, really.
And is that because you've had a lot of so you got a lot of experience in those markets? Is that because you had a job in that?
Yeah, for sure. I've been employed when I was around 16, really in the plant industry. So I started in the plant, started in the parts sales, and then moved into sales, and then also the rental. So my background is very much within the industries that I'm targeting. Okay.
And so did you used to repair those machines and then you went on to selling them? And was that
mainly in the parts to start with? So I was in the parts department looking after good understanding of what parts were breaking, especially what parts, how the plant machinery was working or operating, getting to know customers and how they would purchase their parts and things like that. I then got promoted into the sales department soon after that, and that was working almost inside sales, but started to deal with international clients and develop the international business for the people I was working with at the time as well, really.
Okay. And so on that journey, at some point you started thinking to yourself, hang on a minute, there might be a service I could produce here?
Yeah, for certain. Over the years, what I've realised and what's apparent is in the construction sector alone, it's one of the most underdeveloped markets for digital products. I think the adoption rate for digital has traditionally been quite slow, but there is a huge opportunity for businesses to be able to adapt digital solutions and software to help them succeed, essentially. The world's going this way, or moving quite quickly as it is now, to software. So it's very much about helping the industry that I know throughout to take that journey, really. Okay.
And was there a kind of a light bulb moment? Was there a kind of a pain point that you saw over and over again that kind of gave you that?
I think that the main initial starting point for the business was around the online ordering. Customers were very much looking to, in the early stages, I guess, there's no facility or very little facility for customers to order equipment online, and that's for sales, but also for the rental or the hire markets. But also what we noticed is a lot of suppliers work with other suppliers. So what we wanted to do is incorporate a solution where customers can order from their preferred supplier, but also we could I could build a solution where the suppliers could work with other suppliers to help fulfill orders as well. So I saw a gap in the market for what we call cross-hiring of equipment and also cross-selling. It does happen, but it's all very manual.
Right. Okay. So you were sat there thinking about this, and then what was the next step that you took? Because I'm assuming, obviously, you don't necessarily have a background in tech. How did it sort of?
Yeah, I guess that from the tech side, I knew what I wanted. I knew what I needed to build or wanted to build. I guess from the technical perspective, it's finding a way to build what I wanted in the most efficient way, but also within budget. So I set myself a mini budget to set out and then design really what I wanted.
So did you?
That process.
Yeah, no, sorry, Carol.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so that process took a lot longer than I anticipated. I think there's a learning step for me initially is to you have an idea, and then to build your idea. I thought would probably only take 3 months, maybe, but it took probably about start to finish about 12 months.
Okay, so you set out, you kind of said to yourself, okay, there's a gap in the market. There's a product that I think I could build that would fit that gap, and then you set yourself a budget, a small budget.
Yeah.
And then what did you do? Did you go start looking to talk to people in the industry, software industry, or how did that?
Yeah, so essentially go and find some competitive quotes within the industry, the digital software industry, to get some ideas of what needed to build, and then find a reliable partner to build the solution for me. So essentially that was what the starting point of what I wanted to do, and build it in the right way, because I'm conscious that if we built it the wrong way, then it would mean having to rebuild it again later down the line. So I wanted to make sure that it was fully scalable, to adapt and can handle the number of customers that we expect now and in the future. We wouldn't then go and have to go and spend thousands of pounds rebuilding it. And it's also modern. It needed to be modern. I noticed a lot of the software in the market at the time was very old-fashioned looking. So the UI or the UX was quite old-fashioned, very much driven by a database. Whereas for me, it was all about how it looked, but also to streamline the whole process to make it nice and easy for whoever was using it.
So was there, at the time when you started, were there a kind of couple of comparators, that you looked at in the market already, sort of doing maybe not exactly the same thing as you, but doing something similar?
Not as such. I knew really what I needed or what I wanted to do. So I had a good idea of what I'd need to do and how to build it. Essentially, it was just the idea really was just to find the best way of building it.
Right. Okay. And how did you go about that? Because obviously you started talking to, I guess you kind of talked to software development houses. Is that who you?
Yeah.
And
So essentially go to a number of software companies to look at ways to be able to build what I wanted. And I think the difficulty at the time was, one, you didn't really know exactly who you was dealing with, because obviously it was a new relationship. I think everyone could say that they could build it, but then there's quite big variations in terms of cost. So it was quite difficult. So to start with, I managed to get a few quotes, and then I started to whittle that down, and then decide on a supplier essentially.
And when you were having those meetings with them, did they all ask you the same questions, or did different ones ask you different questions?
I think at the time there's quite a few that weren't really interested, which was a surprise. I don't think necessarily it was me. I think it was just generally. They just give you a ballpark figure, it'll be this amount of money to build, and take it or leave it type thing. And then you'd get one or two that would be more investigatory about what you actually wanted to build, and which gave you then a bit more confidence of what was doing really.
And did they kind of outline the process? Did they all have a similar process, or did you feel that you wanted to change that process in any way of getting to the final product?
I think it's project management. I think I decided on the project management led approach. So it's a good understanding of step by step what was going to happen, when it's going to happen, who was involved in the conversations, and it was communication, open communication. Because whilst it took quite a long time to build, it was very important that the communication lines were open and consistent. I think without it, I think I would have struggled. And I think also in the early stages, especially, what you have in your head and what actually gets delivered can be two different things. So it was important to be part of that journey throughout the process, really.
And the partner that you ended up choosing, did you choose them based on price, or was it the project management led, or was it something?
They're both, really.
Okay.
Both.
And were they in the same time zone?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that worked well then.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Okay. And then what was it like kind of working through that with them? Was there a moment when you got to see the first, like, hold it in your hand the first time, or talk us through that?
In terms of the prototyping,
yeah,
you get a good understanding of the designs. I think the design process was the starting point. Have a look at the design process, then you look at the actual flow, then you look at the where certain boxes or things would be, and the actual look and feel of the system. Essentially, that's what we'd look at.
Yeah. Okay. And what was it? What was it like in terms of? Did you feel that you were like you had you said at the start you had a really good understanding of what you wanted? Did you feel that it got more complicated than you thought, or was it about the same kind of level?
Absolutely. I think the journey is always starts from what's a simple process, and as you get into it, it's a lot more complex. And still now, even now, I'm building more and more features, functions, and things. So I think it's very, very much at the very beginning, what I thought was a ready-to-go product, I guess, has changed massively over the years, because one you have to keep evolving, adapting, adopting, and changing to what you need, but also to make it more suitable for the customers and make it appeal a wider audience, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always that, and that kind of area where the features match what the market wants constantly moves and shifts. It's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what you think is correct, and this is why I wanted to build what I've built, really, is I think when suppliers or users or companies go to look at building their own solutions as such, I wanted to take away not some of the pain I've already gone through in terms of I've already built the solution for them, and I've gone through the journey and the process of developing it, and it does take a lot longer, as I've said to you. And I think what we find with some suppliers or customers potentially is they don't necessarily know that you have to keep developing it. It's built, now forget about it. It's right. It's built, developed, now we carry on.
Yeah.
That's a good piece. So when suppliers, customers go out and build their own solutions, what they will probably forget is there's ongoing costs to carry on with that, really.
Let me just interrupt this podcast for a few seconds. I just wanted to let you know about our wonderful sponsor, Head Channel. Head Channel builds software engineering teams, and they've been building software for clients since 2003. They have a very simple engagement model. Either they develop and run it, or they build it and you run it. They can also help with finding a fractional CTO if you need that support. You can find them at headchannel.co.uk. And now back to the podcast.
An app is for life, not just for Christmas.
Yeah.
So you got to the end of the 12 months and then you got to launch it. I mean, did that 12-month process kind of go smoothly, or did you go down any dead ends and have to kind of come back? What was?
Yeah, I guess it was a lot longer process. Once it was launched, then I realised actually it's probably too limited. I set it up as limited market, 2 limited markets, 2 limited products. So quite quickly I went into phase 2, and phase 2 was very much about opening the platform to be able to cater for any product, any specification, and we just literally opened it up. And that change for me was a real positive change, because now, even though I said we targeted construction and industrial, just by simply making that tweak or change, we could literally put in any product, any specification, anything at any time, and I can do it within minutes. Whereas before, it was very much about how it was built. It was built for certain products, it was built for certain things, and it's very spec specific at that time. So quickly went to phase 2 to be able to change all of that, really.
Yeah. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about what it does, and the kind of the kind of process that someone using it would take, because I think that I'll add a bit of colour around what you talked about.
Yeah, so essentially what I built, is I touched on very briefly, was it's a hire and sales platform, and it's around being able to hire or sell products online, which is fairly straightforward. On the sales process, that's very straightforward. From the hire perspective, it's a lot more complicated. There's a lot more things that and processes that need to go through in the hire process. But it's not about me hiring the equipment online. It's about the hirers hiring their equipment to their customers. So what it is for me to give them almost like the system for themselves to use as their own hire platform, that also turns into their customer portal as well. So it acts as their own online shop and their customer portal for their customers to keep ordering and seeing what they have and order online, essentially. So it will do the whole process from start to finish, sales and hire. It will capture all the necessary details and documents needed to be able to support a hire, especially. And from the sales perspective, it will also capture a bit more around the sale, which is specific to the plant, construction machines, and all around the specs, etc. So, which sounds quite straightforward, but it's quite a complicated system, but very, very easy to use. So there's lots of complexities to it, but also very simple for the supplier and the customer to be able to use. But also built into that, what I've built is a sharing solution. And the sharing solution is about being able to share products between hire company to hire company. So hire companies can connect with another hire company and share assets. So, and this becomes really powerful for smaller companies that want to work with other smaller companies in geographical areas. It also opens up the ability for companies to offer different type of products in the market. So, for example, you might have a plant hire company that has all the mini diggers, excavators, etc., but get asked quite a lot for toilet hire, as an example. So what they can do is connect with a toilet hire company using our system, and all of a sudden they now offer toilets for hire, and all their customers that want toilets can hire through them, essentially. So which is a great solution because it enables the supplier to be able to supply a one-stop shop and maintain and keep the business, but also the equipment is being fed from their trusted partners, and that's essentially what we've built behind the scenes as well. So it adds a different dynamic to the platform as well, really.
Yeah, because I guess the hire market for plant machinery and equipment is quite fragmented in some places. So people, I'm guessing people tend to rent cranes, and they only rent cranes, but then they get asked for diggers, and then, I don't know. I'm making that up.
Yeah, no, exactly, and that's it. I think sometimes you'll get some plant hire companies that will want to own everything or one of everything. But the way I see it as well is you have expertise in different markets, different fields. And if you have, say, a forklift company, they have all the knowledge and expertise around forklifts. So why not use a forklift company to support all your forklift requests if you're a plant hire company? Because they can help you build and work together. It's not like you're competing for the same type of products. It's you're working together to succeed. And similarly, you might have forklift companies that have requests for access hire. So why wouldn't a forklift company then say, well, actually, why don't we partner up with a access company? And anytime we get access inquiries, then they can either order it online and we all get it through our partner, and they can see everything that's available, or they can work it offline as well, really.
Okay. Interesting stuff. So you got it launched. So how long ago did it get launched?
So I think I would say phase 2 was probably the second stage where we started to push it a lot more. So it was about, I'm trying to think now, August 23, I think it was.
Okay.
So around August 23, it was started to be more suitable, I would say, for the market.
Okay. And it's kind of primarily focused on the cross hire market. So if you're a hirer, if you've got a hire company and you want to hire other stuff, then this is the kind of the tool for you, and you can expose it to customers.
It could do both. So you can use it as your own, as just solely as your own equipment. You can use it, or you could use it for rehiring or cross hiring as well as. So it's got the power to do both. And I think the important part is the customer is always retained by the person that's advertising it, essentially. So it keeps the customer and the relationship with the primary one supplier.
Well, that's good, because I guess that's probably one of the big barriers. If you didn't do that, I think a lot of people would be saying, well, hang on a minute, I'm not going to give you my customer list, kind of thing, as it were.
Yeah. And that's why it's a trusted relationship. So they wouldn't necessarily connect with anyone. They choose who they connect with, and it's the people that they want to work with. And that's where it becomes powerful. So you do have relationships in the market already. It's all manual, or generally manual. So what we're saying is, right, okay, you've got that manual relationship. Why not digitalize it as well as? So it's there to help both companies or multiple companies succeed.
So one thing that you said really early on was about the budget, because you set yourself a small budget. So did you manage to stay on that small budget, or did it grow?
Oh, it's grown lots of times.
But
and it's still growing.
Yeah, but obviously, you've got customers now, so you're getting positive cash flow from it. So there's money coming in, which enables you to spend more on adding more features, etc.
Yeah, so always reinvest in anything, and plus more, really, essentially. It's just to keep making it better, and listening to feedback from customers, listening to the market, listening to see what's coming and changing. So it's constantly evolving, really.
That's good. That's good. So, yeah, I mean, how have you? Because I think, you know, in our kind of pre-conversations, you would or pre-recorded conversations, you were talking about managing the budget very, very tightly. I think you said something along the lines of, you know, development doesn't have to be that expensive. Have you got any tips around that?
The right supplier. Luckily for me, not phase one, but phase two, I've managed to find a very strong, reliable partner who's helped me out immensely. So we can get anything built anytime, anything really. So it's helped me out no end in terms of also finding product market fit, but also being able to adapt and adopt and make any tweaks that we need to. I think the important part is nothing's perfect. Nothing's perfect from day one or even day 20. It's forever evolving. But without a strong, reliable partner, or developer, it would be very difficult.
And I should have asked this earlier, but so on that kind of the first phase and then the second phase, did you change developer between those two?
Yes, yeah, we did.
And what was the driver for that?
I think there's a breakdown of trust with the first developer, essentially. It's quite a long story, but essentially the trust broke down. So it was important for the business to be able to build going forward with complete openness and honesty, really.
Yeah. Okay. You know, you're not unusual. That happens to a lot of people. They end up finding someone to do the first bit. The first bit gets done, but it's strain the relationship, and then they find someone else to carry on after that. So yeah, it's been. I think you've been on a kind of a similar journey to some of the other people that I've interviewed on this stuff. But what do you think? You know, for other people who are listening to this, who are looking to go on this journey, what do you think your main advice to them would be?
If you're starting a software business, or is certainly to seek a reliable partners to be able, and I think that is the key. Essentially, it's a strong, reliable partner who has a good understanding, or also wants to understand what you're building or want to build. I think it's not just about the figure as such, it's being able to articulate that and being able to build it smoothly in probably a project management style. So I'd ask those questions at the very beginning: is what is their style of how they handle these types of builds? Because often that can delay a project if the project isn't being handled correctly or it's too inefficient. So as a learning point, I would say that's the first 2 or 3 points.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the future? Where are you going next with this?
Oh, we're already on the future. So we've started building, or have actually built QR codes now. And QR codes are readily available, pretty much free in most cases, very easy to adopt. But we've gone quite a few steps further than that, because obviously there's no point building something that you can just get off the shelf. So I've built QR code landing pages, product landing pages for products essentially. But we've gone quite a few steps ahead of anyone in the market, as you'd imagine. QR codes are going to be very much about the future, replacing barcodes, as we know, in retail, most products in the market are going to have some kind of QR. So what I wanted to do is follow that up and introduce it to the plant, machinery, industrial sector. So I've pre-built landing pages. So any product that we add into the platform automatically has a QR with full specifications, full photos, full information. We can add any information, possible future links in there, which link back to websites and pages and things that you'd expect, all pre-built, which is great for the suppliers, because essentially all they have to do is just put a QR code on and that's it, it's done. And so we wanted to build that. So that's done now. So we just started to soft launch that into the market.
So you're sticking QR codes on the machinery, the plant machinery,
as well. We can do that as well, yeah. And that's quite big for health and safety, from a safety document point of view. But it's also about the ability to be able to sell products, or even hire products using the QR code. So what I've done is designed it in a way that you can use the same QR code to book machinery in, book machinery out, scan the QR code for photos, documents, whatever you need it to be, to an extent. And then we've got something else that we're going to use the same QR code for. So it's almost like a master QR code can do everything.
Yeah. I remember, when you go skiing, some of these places, maybe all of them now, have QR codes on the equipment. They scan in and scan out. Super simple, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we're just releasing that now, essentially. And the way I've designed it again is I've designed it in a way that it can be for any product. So even though I'm targeting for construction, plant hire, and industrial, if need be, I put it on a candle, and that's where we see if we need to diversify, want to diversify, we can do.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a really good platform. So if people wanted to check it out, where would they go and find out more about your platform?
So essentially, we do have a website. Admittedly, it's not the best. I spent most of my money on developing on the software, so which is a bit of a shame, but I'm sure people understand that. Everything's all on the in the system. So yeah, the website gives a good indication. But yeah, through that really. Yeah,
RentPayGo. So just type that into Google. Yeah, brilliant. All right. Well, Richard, very much enjoyed listening to your journey and your experience getting software built. Thank you so much. We wish you all the best for the future. Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Software Meets Business, the podcast sponsored by Head Channel. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and review on your preferred platform.